Alright guys, welcome back. This is Vincent with TemeculaPermaculture.com, and today I'm going to be showing you how easy it is to start an herb garden in your yard. Herbs are so important because they are high in antioxidants, they are medicinal plants, they repel insects. You want to keep them right at your back door. Grow a whole bunch of them, and let me show you how easy sleazy it is to start an herb garden at your home. Let's get started. Okay, so yesterday we showed you how to create these basket gardens, and you can use 5-gallon pots or buckets or whatever you got. Just make sure there's some holes in the bottom and they got good drainage. But we're going to use these for our herb garden. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 baskets here. That should be enough herbs to grow for at least 2 to 4 people. There's 2 methods to plant your seeds. Number 1, with the larger seeds, you could do something like this. Woo! Here we have some parsley. Let's go ahead and plant out this basket with parsley. Give it a tappy-tappy, make sure all the seeds are at the bottom. Go ahead and pour them out into your hand. And watch how easy this is. This is called broadcasting. You're simply trying to get a even distribution of seeds across the surface area of your pot. That wasn't painful at all. Now once your seeds are down, you want to give them a good layer of compost on the top, but herbs only want to be down about 1/4 of an inch, so don't bury them too deep. We're just going to broadcast some compost over the top of those seeds there. And that should about do it right there. So the next step involved with this guy here is to give them some water. Try to do this really gently so that you don't float the seeds up to the surface. And once again, on the first watering, you want to give a pretty good watering so it'll soak down to the bottom and then kind of re-wick back up to the surface as needed. Kind of keep this all nice and moist. That is more than enough to germinate our seeds. The last thing you need to do is make sure you keep it really nice and humid throughout the germination process. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip this up. This plastic here that we've created. Just give it a roll. Keep some air in there so that it doesn't mold too quickly. And that's done. I can set that aside and leave this for about 24 hours. Now every 24 hours I'm going to want to open it up, let some fresh air in there for maybe just a minute, and then roll it back up again. And that will prevent mold from developing. So yeah, just open it up, give it a good watering, let it sit for like 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then just roll it back up again. When you see the sprouts come up and they shoot up from the surface, then you don't want to put this back up anymore. You want to keep it down and just keep it moist and just let it do its thing. You want to keep your herbs in a spot where they get a lot of shade, where they don't get too much heat, but they do get sun in the morning time. The morning sun is the cool sun. We all know that it gets really, really hot out here in Murrieta, like in the late afternoons in the summertime. So the late afternoon is the hot sun, and the morning sun is the cool sun. We want to give our herbs as much cool morning sun as possible. So against the, like this wall right here, this is where the house is. This is facing the east. So once the sun gets up over the house at about noontime, this is all in shade, everything against here. So I put all my plants that need to be in cool weather or cannot withstand the heat of the sun up against this wall here. And I also experiment. I even take some plants that I would put out in the heat and the sun, and I put them over here too, just to see what they do. There's one more method to broadcasting your seeds. In this bucket here, I placed a whole packet of oregano seeds. They're so tiny that they're hard to control. You know, like when you're trying to sprinkle like salt or pepper or like salt into a dish when you're cooking, and a lot of chefs say, oh, use the larger grains of sea salt because they're easier to control. It's the same kind of principle here. These seeds are really small and they're kind of hard to control sometimes. So what you can do is just mix them into a handful of dirt and make sure that's like really stirred up really good, and then just grab that handful of dirt and broadcast that over the surface. That way you get an even distribution of the seeds throughout the surface. Now this is especially useful when you're doing like large scale broadcasting, when you're like planting seeds in a really large space. Hope they didn't mess that up. And once again, just another handful or two of compost over the top. Give them something to grow through. Get it nice and wet. And then once again, just flip up your humidity dome. Now here's a tip, if you're using like 5-gallon pots or buckets or something like that, just take another 5-gallon pot, flip it upside down, put it on top, and put a rock on top. If it's not too windy, that'll hold it in place. Anything, whatever it takes, a couple bamboo poles and some plastic wrap or a trash bag. That would work great actually, just one bamboo pole down the center and a trash bag over the top. That would work as a humidity dome to keep it humid and help your seeds germinate. So I'm going to go ahead and plan out all the rest of these, and then you can see those before we wrap up. How exciting! Look at this! In a few weeks, this is all going to be green foliage, delicious, luscious, herbaceous, nutritious, medicinal herbs for my family to eat. This is how you do it, guys. That's how simple it is. Just sprinkle some seeds, keep it moist, and the stuff grows like crazy. So that's how you do it. That's how you start herbs from seed in container in your home organic garden. Again, this is Vincent with WildRootsPermaculture.com in Murrieta, California. Grow crazy!